Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about an article that I just seen on Screen Rant that says Kingdom Hearts 2, why so many fans were critical at launch. I didn't even know that fans were critical, or at least there were some fans that were critical at launch. Like, seriously, I didn't. Granted that I was pretty young when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. I was born in 1996, and Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2007, so I was 11 years old at the time. So I'm not like how I am now, where I am aware of backlash towards Kingdom Hearts 3, or not backlash, but things that were critical, the fans were critical about with Kingdom Hearts 3, like I am with Kingdom Hearts. I feel like I was going to put myself in the corner. Pretty much, at the time, when I first played Kingdom Hearts 2, I did not understand that. I was not aware of fans being critical of the game per launch, like I was when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, with some fans being critical with Kingdom Hearts 3. I feel like I worded that better. Anyways, and as usual, I will link this article in the pinned comments down below. So if you guys want to see it without having to hear my voice, you guys can. So it says Kingdom Hearts 2. Why so many fans were critical at once? And this was published an hour ago by the time I'm recording this. So it's fairly new. So let's read, shall we? Fans have long had a complicated relationship with the Kingdom Hearts series, often due to the large amounts of hype that center around new releases that struggle to live up to the overhyped expectations. I feel like the reason why there's overhyped expectations is because Kingdom Hearts takes forever, or Square Enix takes forever to release a new game. It took what, about 4 years between Kingdom Hearts 1 for Kingdom Hearts 2 to be released, and about nearly over a decade, 12 years after Kingdom Hearts 2 was released, that Kingdom Hearts 3 was released. So of course fans are going to be hyped for it, and who knows when Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be released, because we all know we're getting Kingdom Hearts 4. The question is, when are we getting Kingdom Hearts 4 is that question. So, anyways, this has recently been the case. The critical reception of Kingdom Hearts 3. Some fans might remember that a similar level of criticism was levied against the previous numbered title in the series. Wasn't 300 the Days game? Hold on, let me see. Kingdom Hearts 358. Because I'm pretty sure that came out launch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that came out after Kingdom Hearts 3, right? Yes, I'm not jump cutting. So this came out 2009. So technically, 358 over 2 days is the last numbered game, if you want to be technical, but for argument's sake, for this article's sake, they're referring to Kingdom Hearts 2. Let me scroll down. Considering the status that Kingdom Hearts 2 has among the series, often being held up as the best game so far, it is one of my favorite Kingdom Hearts games. It's actually my favorite Kingdom Hearts game to play of all the series. It's tied for me between Kingdom Hearts 2, 1, Birth by Sleep, and Birth by Sleep Fragmentary Passage for me. Anyways, it can be strange to think of the fan base being critical of it. However, when Kingdom Hearts 2 first released, it was met with a number of complaints that the game was too easy and linear. Some maintaining the original was better at the time. reaction commands and reflect magic. The vast majority of complaints against Kingdom Hearts 2 at launch were focused mostly on the difficulty of the game, a critique that would eventually be raised against Kingdom Hearts 3 rough 14 years later. So it was 14 years later when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, after number 2. Much of this complaint came from the introduction of reaction commands, which added a level of variety to certain fights depending on what enemies were present. While in the series cases, the reaction commands made combat more varied. It also added a correct way to fight, where the reacting to the prompt always offered the most damage and kept the player safe from attacks. I'm not saying that this is a bad criticism, I honestly don't get it. I honestly don't get it. This complaint, because of course I played Kingdom Hearts 2 multiple times. I don't think that's like the most like. I don't think it was too easy with the reaction commands. I don't think the reaction commands and reflect magic made the game too easy. That's just me. If you guys feel differently, let me know in the chat. I don't feel like that made the game too easy. And here's a guy who played the normal version of Kingdom Hearts 2 and the final mix version of Kingdom Hearts 2. So I don't feel like it made it too easy. I thought it made it interesting, sure, but not too easy. Yet again, when I had this game on the PlayStation 2, I was like 11. And I sucked. But I got better at games since then. And I'm 26 right now, so that's saying something. Anyways, linear levels removed exploration from Kingdom Hearts. Another notable issues the players had was that Kingdom Hearts 2 worlds, which were critiqued for not only being linear hallways, but also little effect on the overall story. The complaint is most notable in the worlds like Halloween Town or Disney Castle, where most of the rooms that make these rooms only have 2 entrances, and any additional paths only lead to short dead ends for boss encounters. It makes transversal much less complex than the Super Mario 64 inspired 3D platforming for the first time. Beyond the linearity, there was a complaint that the individual stories of these worlds had little effect in the overall narrative. Sorry, I sneezed. Acting as little more than mini episodes, and Paddle padded the runtime with unrelated adventures. Halloween Town is again one of the prime examples here, as the main antagonist in Organization 13 never actually appeared on this world or impact its narratives in any way. Then, there is only one world that doesn't have heavy implications of the story, but acts as a multi-hour speed bump at the very beginning of the game. This would be what is now referred to fans by as Simulated Twilight Town, the opening world where players control Roxas instead of Sora. So I can't understand fans critiquing Halloween Town, but I think Halloween Town / Christmas Town was a needed world in Kingdom Hearts 2, because even though they didn't progress the main story, as some fans might say, I feel like that world nevertheless was good character development for Sora, Donald, and Goofy. So in terms of character development, I think Halloween Town / Christmas Town was a good world. If you guys want me to go into further detail in why I think that, let me know and I'll make a separate video of that. Why fans eventually came around on Kingdom Hearts level designs. To start with the last criticism, it's important to look at what Kingdom Hearts 2 was trying to do with the design of not only the main worlds, but also the initial run of Twilight Town. The driving force behind Kingdom Hearts is the story and its characters. This is why Sora consistently trends among gaming fans on social media, or became the most requested character to join Super Smash Bros. Which the Super Smash Bros. Franchise, sorry. Which Sora is like my main in Super Smash Bros. He is my favorite character to play in Super Smash Bros. Before it was like Ike and Link, now it's Sora, and I'm so happy I get to play Sora in Super Smash Bros. I like to kick people's asses in that game with the Keyblade, and I'm pretty sure I get cursed out after I beat them with Sora. But anyways, my point is I'm so loving Sora being in Kingdom Hearts, in Super Smash Bros. Anyways, on that note, the first visit to Twilight Town is a slog for additional playthrough, but it's absolutely succeed at getting players to understand and connect with Roxas. Yeah, especially since 358 over 2 days didn't exist at the time. That game did not exist until like 2 years later. If there is anything that now raises Kingdom Hearts 2 to be the best game in the series, it's the narrative and cast of characters that have strong players into this entry. This also extends into the main levels, where the linear design guides players from story beat to story beat. Then, for the complaint that the worlds don't impact the story, the interactions with Organization 13 members continue to set up the stakes for why they need to be stopped. On top of this, the first visit where Maleficent and Pete are the primary antagonists cap off with them being outright beaten by the Organization at the halfway point in Hollow Bastion. The skill window is wider than initially expected. Let me talk about this last part real quick. Yeah, I think the narrative is really good, and I agree with them. The narrative and cast of characters is like, I feel like what makes Kingdom Hearts 2 so special. Which is why, part of the reason why I was saying, like, with their last article about how Nightmare Before Christmas didn't really do anything to the story of Kingdom Hearts, I have to respectfully disagree. I think it added to the story. Not exactly the overall story of Kingdom Hearts 2, but the story arc, the character arc of Sora down on Goofy, especially for Sora. And I like that world. And I think it did a lot for Sora's character. So, that's my thought. Anyways, an important part of building and balancing games, especially those built on reactionary combat, is to set a solid skill floor and ceiling. The space between the top end and bottom end of player skill is the window, where Sora will have to fall between in order to get through to the end of the game. The floor for Kingdom Hearts 2 is the requirement to be able to match X. At least it was when it was still a PlayStation exclusive. Before I continue, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 was a PlayStation exclusive. Kingdom Hearts 2 was a PlayStation exclusive. I forget when Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories came out. Chain of Memories. Jump Cut. So Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories came out on in 2004. And it did not get revamped to the PlayStation until another jump cut, so I can make sure. So apparently it didn't come out until 2006 on the PlayStation 2. If my source is wrong, let me know in the comments, but that's what I said. Anyways, the point is, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 replaced with certain exclusives. Kingdom Hearts Certain Memory was like the first game that wasn't on the PlayStation 2 at first. Because it was on the Game Boy, later remastered to be on the PlayStation 2. Of course, later on, in the 1.5 set on the PlayStation 3, and then the Story So 4 set in on the PlayStation 4, and then released on all the other consoles that were made it less of a PlayStation exclusive. So yeah. Anyways, until the credits roll on the beginner level, while the ceiling is beating level 1 critical's 100 speedrun. For context, there is no record runs for the ladder of the speedrun leaderboards. That's interesting. Okay. So while players were right that beating the game wasn't difficult, mastering the game and getting through the end game content could be incredibly tough. The game was made even more difficult with the release of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. And that's what I was actually going to bring the point that I say they're going to bring up if they didn't say it in this article. I'm happy that they're going to bring up the point I was going to make. So, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix was introduced 19 new bosses in the form of the Absent Ciliate, Data Organization, and Lingering Will, plus a 12 for those who encounter Roxas in the road that never was. So what they mean is like, pretty much the bosses with the Absent Ciliates, the organization members that you fought in Kingdom Hearts Chain Memories, that you defeated as Sora and Riku. There's like this little bubble Absent Ciliate where if you go in there, you can still fight the members that you fought in Chain of Memories that were defeated that wasn't in the original version of Kingdom Hearts 2. Then the Data Organization is all the organization members that were in Kingdom Hearts 2 and Chain of Memories. There's this special room that you have to level up your other forms to be able to get like super jump or high jump and glide to get to where you get to fight all 13 members of Organization 13. But they're data versions, and they're a bit harder than what we encountered in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 and Chain of Memories. And then the Lingering Will was always in Kingdom Hearts. That was like the secret boss. Like after you beat the game, you go to Disney World or Disney Castle. There's this weird portal you go to, and the Lingering Will is Terra's armor, and you have to fight it. That's the secret boss to Kingdom Hearts 2. So that I don't know why they put that as part of the final mix. That's always been in Kingdom Hearts 2. And plus a 12 and 20th for those who count Roxas in the road that never was. So Roxas in Kingdom Hearts 2, the original version, we do encounter Roxas at the road that never was, but in Kingdom Hearts 2, before the final mix, it was just a cutscene. In the final mix version of Kingdom Hearts 2, is a cutscene, plus we have to fight Roxas. The cutscene's a bit extended. And yeah, Roxas can be a tough cookie to beat if you're not the right level, of course, but super fun. And I enjoyed myself fighting him when I first fought against him on the PlayStation 3. Players were also given a new drive form for Sora to master. Although that actually made some encounters easier. This drive form they're referring to is called I believe it's called limit form. Limit form is, of course, like Valor form changes Soros to like outfit to red. Wisdom changes his to white. Master changes his outfit to yellow, and Master form changes his outfit to white. And anti form makes Soros' entire body black with his eyes yellow. So limit form makes Soros' outfit be the one that he wore in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories. And we get to have the abilities that Sora had in Kingdom Hearts 1 while we're in limit form. And like I believe it was like the Sonic Blade, wherever we do that on enemies, that we get healed. So that's awesome. But I think that takes up Magic too. If I remember correctly, I don't remember. But anyways, that's the drive from that we're referring to. Looking at everything that Kingdom Hearts 2 brought to the series, it's understandable that the sudden change might have caught players off guard initially. However, it introduced one of the best narratives these titles ever had, before future titles extended, complicated, and sometimes retconned a number of newly introduced story beats. On top of that, the combat in Kingdom Hearts 2 added a layer of depth and expanded skill windows on the series has consistently leaned on in future titles. That's for sure. Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8, I believe, is another one. It is available on now for PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. Even though I do not think you guys should get the Kingdom Hearts games unless if it's Melody and Memory on the Switch, only because they're cloud version, and I've heard that the 2.5 and 1.5 the games that come into the 1.5 and 2.5 and 2.8 sucks on the Switch version because they're cloud versions of the games. Melody and Memory is a different story because it's not a cloud version, so it doesn't require internet. For those of you who wonder what cloud versions is, it's pretty much you have to rely on the internet to be able to play a game. So if your internet is good, then the gameplay is good. If your internet is bad, well, you're kind of screwed and most likely can't expect glitches and lag. Or more glitches that you probably would have if you got like the PlayStation and Xbox version. So that's just my advice. But anyways, I'm a bit, like I said, I'm a bit surprised that this Kingdom Hearts 2 got some backlash when it first came out. Even though now I understand some of the criticisms, even though I have to disagree. Like, I'm not saying those criticisms are not justified, because they are. They are, trust me. Everybody's opinions is justified. But I have to disagree with some of these critics, because I actually think some of the things that people were criticizing Kingdom Hearts 2 for when it first came out, I feel that they were being a bit too harsh. Again, keyword, I feel. So, but yeah, like I say, Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite game of the entire series to play. I think Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 1, Birth by Sleep, and Birth by Sleep Fragmentary Passage are all tied as the best Kingdom Hearts game. For various reasons. I really enjoyed playing. I do remember really enjoying playing Kingdom Hearts 2 when it first came out. Kingdom Hearts 2 was the first game I initially played that I beat. Because I did play Kingdom Hearts 1, but I never beat Kingdom Hearts 1 at the time that I beat Kingdom Hearts 2. So Kingdom Hearts 2 is the first Kingdom Hearts game that I beat. Then comes Chain of Memories, I believe. Then comes Kingdom Hearts 1. Weird way to go in order, but I've seen like my brother play Kingdom Hearts 1. so I knew how it ended. I knew like all the important beats to Kingdom Hearts 1, including the ending. So I wasn't really like missing out outside of actually playing it, uh, the full game. Now, present time, I beat Kingdom Hearts 1. I beat all the Kingdom Hearts games with the exception of Dream Drop Distance. Which, if you guys want me to explain why, I can make a video of that in the future. But that said, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree or disagree with any of these critics? Again, let me know in the comment section. Again, I'm gonna put this article in the pinned comments down below. So if you guys wanted to read this article for yourselves, you guys can. Thank you so much for those of you who watched this video. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. And as the saying goes in the Kingdom Hearts series, may your heart be your guiding key.